What would you do if the person you loved saw the real you and felt disgust? Not confusion, not surprise. Disgust. She saw it on his face for half a second. And that was enough. She's 24, an elementary school teacher. He's 25, working toward becoming an English professor. They met at a literary convention about a year ago. Two book people finding each other in a room full of book people. It sounds like the opening chapter of something good. And for a while, it really was. He was everything she'd never had. Considerate, communicative, the kind of guy who wouldn't talk badly about someone even if he had every reason to. She described him as a person who always gave people the benefit of the doubt. No red flags, no hidden patterns. Just two people building something steady and real for the first time. But here's what he didn't know about her. Before she was the confident, fit woman he fell for, she was someone else entirely. Growing up, she'd always been significantly heavier, and it shaped everything. Not just her body, but her confidence, her social circle, the way the world moved around her. During sophomore year of college, something happened. A prank pulled by a group of girls that forced her to confront how much her appearance was defining her life and her future. So she changed, and I mean, she changed. 2 years, 100 pounds, gone. New wardrobe, new hair, new makeup, new people. By the time she was done, the transformation was so complete that people who'd known her before, they didn't even recognize her. And that became a kind of armor. Almost nobody in her current life knew about the previous version. It wasn't a secret, but it wasn't something she advertised. Until last week. An old college roommate came to visit. The one person who had a front row seat to the entire transformation. The boyfriend had never heard many stories from college. His girlfriend kept that chapter closed. So when the roommate started sharing memories, he was all ears. Curious, leaning in. She mentioned a dance competition they'd won sophomore year. He wanted to see it. The roommate started scrolling through years of videos on her phone. Meanwhile, the girlfriend was in the kitchen, finishing up after dinner, half listening. She only walked out when the video was already playing. And that's when she saw his face. The roommate was pointing at the screen, identifying people, and as she gestured toward a particular section, his expression changed. Subtle, fast, and very, very real. He pointed at the screen, laughing, completely relaxed, and said, "The one next to the humpback?" Just like that. No hesitation, no filter, just pure instinct. The roommate froze. Her eyes snapped to the girlfriend in the doorway. Because the person he just called a humpback was his girlfriend. And this is where it gets hard to tell. She stepped forward, and she said, quietly, "That was me." His face dropped. Instantly, he started stumbling over his words. "I didn't know. I would never say that about you." But she just looked at him. Still. Cold. And she said, "You just did." Think about that. Not the word, the speed. How easy it was for him. How natural, like it was nothing. She asked him to leave. He kept apologizing. She repeated herself. He left. The roommate apologized too. The girlfriend told her it was fine. And then she cried. Most of that night. Not because it hurt. Because it was honest. Next morning, he intercepted her on her daily run. Flowers, coffee, one more apology. He told her, "You're the most beautiful woman I've ever known." And she accepted it. Told him to hold on to the gifts. She needed to finish her run. On the surface, it looked like they were working through it. But underneath, something had shifted. Something that wasn't coming back. She's always been thick-skinned about her body. Years of being heavy, years of comments, she'd built up a tolerance. But this wasn't a stranger on the street. This was the man who held her face and told her she was beautiful. And his genuine, unfiltered, unperformed reaction to a version of her that actually existed was revulsion. She started flinching when he touched her. Not dramatically, just a slight recoil she couldn't control. She stopped reaching out first. The affection that used to flow naturally, it just dried up, quietly, over the course of a single week. He noticed. Of course he noticed. He could feel the distance growing and didn't know how to close it. So he went to a mutual friend for advice. And that made everything worse. Someone in the chain dug up an old photo of her from a college acquaintance's Instagram, the before photo, and it spread through their entire friend group. And then the messages started. Not empathy, rationalizations. The messages said things like, "There's no way he could have known. That's a fair reaction." And the worst one? "You know he's into fit girls. You shouldn't be upset." Let that sink in. People who called themselves her friends telling her his disgust was justified, because the old her was disgusting. She told them all to stay out of it, then confronted her boyfriend about why he'd involved them. And he didn't defend himself, didn't deflect, didn't get angry. He just broke down. And through tears he said, "I don't want to lose you. I didn't know what to do." She tried to tell him it was fine, the same word she'd been using all week. Fine, fine, fine. The word people use when nothing is fine, and they don't have the energy to explain why. And then he said something that stopped everything. He said, "I know it's not fine, because you don't look at me like you love me anymore." And he was right. And here's what makes this story so hard. This isn't about a rude comment. It's about what happens when the person you trust most meets the version of you that you buried and recoils. She spent years building a new self from the wreckage of the old one. And in one unguarded moment, the man she loved met that old self, and his instinct was to mock her. Is he a bad person? Probably not. He didn't know. People make snap judgments about appearances constantly. The difference is, most of the time, nobody is standing in the doorway hearing it. But intention doesn't erase impact. He meant it. About someone. About a body that looked like hers used to look. About a person she used to be. And on some level, still is. He didn't do anything unforgivable, but he broke something that cannot be unbroken. She didn't lose trust in his character. She lost trust in her own safety. The one person who made her feel fully accepted just revealed, without meaning to, that his acceptance had limits she didn't know about. And that's the kind of wound that doesn't heal with flowers and coffee. It just doesn't. So here's the question. Can you love someone the same way once you've seen what they really think of who you used to be? I don't have the answer. I honestly don't. But I know this. The hardest part isn't forgiving him. The hardest part is that she spent years learning to forgive herself for the body she used to live in. And in 5 seconds, he made her feel like she needed to do it all over again. What would you have done? Let me know in the comments. And if this story stayed with you, subscribe. There are more like this every week.